Okay, let's do it. What's up, y'all? It's Jay here, your accountability coach and ghetto psychologist, and it is my life's purpose to help Black people navigate this patriarchal system of white supremacy. On this channel, we're gonna discuss all type of shit. We talk about celebrity gossip, entertainment news. We talk about politics. We talk about personal development and almost everything in between: racism, socialism, psychology, you name it. But like I said, the purpose is to help you as a Black person navigate this patriarchal system of white supremacy. So let's talk about it first. Let's jump into the most pressing thing that happened today. Today is I am filming this is October 3rd. Don't pay that no attention. I need to update that. It is October 3rd. It's the end of 2025 already. Girl, I knew when 2025 got here that it was gonna go by fast. I had that feeling. But anywho, so Diddy was sentenced today. He was sentenced today. And I should go back and look at some of my old content, but I don't want to. I don't have time. I specifically said he was going to get 5 years. I was off by a year, but I was close enough. He got 50 months plus time served for 13 months. So he has to serve 37 months, at least 85% of 37 months. He's feds, y'all, so he has to serve at least 85%. So we're looking at a span of anywhere from, I say, around March 2028 to October 2028, somewhere around there. I'm sorry, I just saw a little boogie in my nose, so I gotta wipe it off. I don't care. So look now. I told y'all folks that they was not going to just give him time served. I'm not sure why so many people really believed that he was going to walk. Y'all have put in y'all brains, and I'm going to talk about this today. We're going to talk about why men in particular SA women, right? I'm gonna go really deep. I'm gonna give you some historical references, and I am also going to talk about some things that are relevant today. So with Diddy, I don't know why you guys have this thing, the people that's on his side. And I keep telling y'all, and I'm gonna say this, karma is coming for anybody who thinks that what Diddy did was okay or it was just this consensual fuck fest. This was not consensual. Yes, he got off through the law, right? We have to understand that morals versus the law is not the same thing. Was good, right? Morally, was morally sound for most people versus the law is not always the same thing. These people found him not guilty of sex trafficking, but he indeed was committing sex trafficking because consent was revoked. And this is what y'all don't understand. And I made content about this on TikTok. When consent, and if you don't know what consent is, really need help. They need this shit back in schools. We need sex education with a sprinkle of lessons of consent because they done took sex ed out and kids already don't know what's going on. They don't be knowing what's going on. Telling y'all. They know how to have sex, but they don't know what's really happening when they have sex. So they need to bring that back with a sprinkle of consent because I see too many grown people who's these are all consenting adults. Do you not understand that consent changes? Me saying yes today does not mean that my yes will remain a yes tomorrow. I have to consistently tell you yes. You have to consistently implicate the question of will you or want you. Even though it's sometimes it's subliminal, you're not gonna blatantly just come out and ask me, do I want to fuck today? Right? But I have the opportunity to tell you no. And if I tell you no and you do what? You physically twist my arm and get me to comply, that is SA. That is assault, people. Okay? This is a basic lesson in consent. I can have sex with you today. Say yes today. And tomorrow, say no. You cannot do something radical like blackmail me, call my mom and tell her that you're going to out my sex tapes, i.e., what Diddy did to Cassie. You can't tell her that if I don't comply. That is blackmail. That is coercion. The jury got it wrong for whatever reason. They were able to create so much doubt. And I really, going back to the case and what I remember, I blame the inclusion of Jane Doe. She did not have to be there to make the case. Cassie could have just stood alone as one victim. She would have did just good enough. But I'm sorry, when they muddied the waters with Jane Doe, I just ate. When they muddied the waters with Jane Doe, that shifted the case. So it was hard for for the jury to really see it as sex trafficking 100%. It created too much reasonable doubt, including her. So, that being said, regardless, the jury didn't get it right. Based off what we heard, I could tell you what the coercion was. I could tell you what the blackmail and it all they needed was two. It was there. This man blackmailed that girl's mama. She had to put up a mortgage on her house to get $20,000 to pay Shun Puff Daddy Combs, who already was a millionaire, multi-millionaire in that time. Everything was to get these women to well, not even women, Cassie, to comply. Everything was about getting her to comply when she didn't want to. The entire time she was trying to get away from him. And I have gone on record for the past year, I don't want to say a whole year, we'll say about 6 months, talking about how they should have never included Jane Doe. She does not, she's not a perfect victim. And a victim don't need to be perfect, but she is so unperfect that you could tell a mile away that they shouldn't even use her. She's pointless to the case. So, anywho, moving forward. He's sentenced and he won't get out until sometime in 2028. Okay. And we have to just pray for that man. That's all I can say is I don't believe that he's reformed as much as he's trying to put on. You know, every time a motherfucker go to jail, they claim they reform. And then they get out here in the free world with all the temptation and they revert. So it's a year is not enough time to wash away decades of drug use and abuse that you are so used to just subjugating people to. Like you've been used to whooping up on folks for decades. That don't change in a year. It doesn't. That type of change is so radical. I'm not saying that it can't change at all. I'm just saying that a year is not enough. Mm-mm. I am, however, hopeful that 3 years, 4 years, accumulative, will do what needs to be done for him. Am I completely convinced? No. It ain't really up to me. I don't know him. I don't have a everyday life with him. He don't have to prove anything to me. I'm just a regular person in the world. But I, as a consumer, and he's one of the biggest enterprises in this country, I don't believe him. I don't believe that he's changed. Not right now, anyway. I do believe that he's remorseful because that's always the first step to really finally sit in it and understand that I need to be sorry, right? I think that's where he's at, right? It's finally really sitting in the results of his actions, right? Finally being able to see himself in some kind of capacity because y'all know Diddy, whatever other heinous things he's done, he was smart enough to hide them. But the things that he was reckless about was things that he figured in his mind that he was big enough that he could get around, right? He could, again, too big for the program. He can get around being a sexual deviant. That's what these white men do, right? he got enough money. I could just, and I'm gonna get into that too with these white men. But we gotta understand that when men are in power, they're gonna use it. They are not gonna sit around idle with this power. They're gonna understand what they can get away with when they have money, when they have access to people, right? Resources and things. They're gonna use it. Speaking of, so we have in the last month or so, okay, because forgive me, because I'm not even finna go look. Y'all do the research on your own. I don't know the names, and honestly, I'm not finna go look. But in the last month, I know for sure what I have seen on my timeline on ABC slash NBC, what on the news. I know it's one of the BC news. There has been yet another GOP member that has been found guilty of SA, right? And in particular, SA of a young adult, a young child. The GOP is full of PEDOs. Really on both sides. I'm not even going to just say it's the GOP, but please believe that the GOP is very much so founded upon these men who love child brides and child grooms. I have been saying for the better than half of a year and a half to maybe 2 years now that there is not a gay agenda. There is a PDF agenda. And people are not recognizing it because these same people who are pushing the PD agenda under your noses are targeting trans people in particular to blame for all the sexual deviance that's going on in the world. And you simple minded, hive minded people are falling for it, not realizing that they are consistently trying to rally to push back the age of consent. They are pushing back the ages of marriage for people, children. And week by week, we are finding out how many of these politicians, right, are out here have conducting I'm sorry, not even conducting, just participating in sexual acts with underage people. And not only are they doing these things, when they are getting convicted, they're getting slapped on the wrist. They're getting 6 months, a year probation. Again, I want y'all to understand that you could go to prison as especially as a black person for a longer time for selling dope than you can for sexual assault. You can go to prison these days for a longer time for getting an abortion than you can for sexual assault. It's really scary out here, and I think well, I'm not trying to fearmonger because I don't even live in fear. Even though it's scary, I'm not scared. It's just when you think about it, you're like, damn, nobody's really safe. Nobody's safe. And it, it's crazy how it's so many of us and so little of them on top, and we still consistently give them power. And I know it's very, very, very hard to do, but if only 1% of us participate, if for one day everybody does not spend any money, if for one day we decide to just stop doing something that contributes to this overall society and economy. Whether it's just a day that everybody decide, hey, we all are not going to work, no matter what their job is. If we do that, we're taking such a strong stand that they cannot ignore the power of us. These people at the top, they're supposed to serve us, but they have created the position so that we are literally slaving for them. And really, that's the very foundation of this country. The foundation of this country is to make people work for people. And I think y'all are really remiss when y'all don't understand where what this country was founded upon. It's not beautiful. It's never been. It's not this beautiful story of, oh yeah, everybody just left the bad tyrant country and came over here, and no, they came over here and became bigger tyrants, awful, evil people. That's what happened in America. So, why do men, let's get into the real thing. Why do men SA women? This is very, like I said, very historical, very old, probably almost since the dawn of time. If we even think about just even the book of Genesis and Eve and Adam and Eve and their story, and how Adam never really took full accountability for what happened in that garden, how he put all the onus on Eve, right? Let's talk about how historically men have always bartered with women. Since before Christ, women were used as bartering tools. Hey, I want your land. Can we share land? I have a daughter. You can marry her, you can have her. As long as I can have a piece of your land. Hey, I got a sister here. Let's trade. It's always been women or just being stolen and becoming someone's concubine. This was something that was commonly happening. We were getting hit over the head just to be with men. We had to be forced to be with men. This is what men don't understand. For the better half of the entirety of humanity right now that we know of, hint, hint, women were forced to be with men. We were forced because no, we could not do anything without a man being attached to us, especially in America. Your mama couldn't open a bank account till 1950 something in the 1950s. Do you understand what that means? A lot of women couldn't own homes unless it was left to them through someone's death, typically the husband. Do y'all understand what that means? Women were not supposed to work. Everything was at the mercy of a man. Black men could vote on paper at least before white women could. Black men were taking office. This is facts. They were taking political positions before white women could. So I want y'all to understand that manhood has always taken precedence over everything else. Sexism existed before racism. Women are looked upon as nothing but tools, right? We're more so of a property of value. We're really invaluable. Humans are invaluable. You can't put a value on a human. However, men are going to put a value on women. Women were forced, especially black women, we were forced into sex work. We were forced into having to perform sexual acts for men. This was a force. Sex trafficking, human trafficking, all of that. slavery, all of that, human trafficking in general is in tandem with sex trafficking. You're not trafficking humans just for labor. Most of the time, that labor is going to include a sexual piece to it. Even if it means, hey, I'm going to get these slaves or these enslaved people and I'm going to breed them. That's still sex trafficking. So I need y'all to understand that men, however, whenever there was a time where the value of women just related to sexual acts, what we can provide to them sexually. So men, again, with this mindset that they own us, with this mindset that even biblically, we were a gift to them to be used, right, by God for whatever reason. Even though, even still biblically, it does not say that women are subservient to men, but men still believe that. There's this piece where also men want to SA women because men, there there's a wiring, a natural psychological wiring in men where they relate like sex to production and performance. So if they don't score, right, they don't get women, somehow that relates back to their manhood. And this is natural now. This is not nurture versus nature. This is really natural. This is, if you look at the masculine or males in across different varies of species, it's the same thing. Men who don't get the girl, right? They are looked upon as far as natural selection as just no good. So men will go through whatever it is they need to go through in order to get the girl in some kind of way, whether it means, oh, I'm going to get this girl the honorable way, meaning I'm going to get her to fall in love with me. I'm going to get her to get to know me. We're going to be friends first, and everything's going to go to this natural progression of a healthy relationship. Or they're going to finesse their way into it. They're going to lie, manipulate, show this face, this mask, right? Bring the representative until they get the woman for what they want from the woman, and then now she's like not really consenting. I want y'all to understand the levels of consent. Yes, this is not the R word just because you lying to kick it. Lying to kick it is not R wording, right? But when you lie, when you are lying to women in order to get them to behave the way you want them to, that's coercion. That's essentially, you're taking away her choice. Because maybe if she knew a certain element about you, she might have said no. She might not have consented. So because you did not tell her this piece and she consented, it's betrayal. You understand? So ultimately, when you take away somebody's choice, right? When it comes to women and men taking away their choices, this is what a lot of men do in order to get what they want out of women, because it goes relates to their winner's mindset, their mindset that a man is only a man if he can score the woman that he wants. How many women is he getting? You know what I'm saying? So when men are not naturally getting women, or even some of the men who do naturally get women, sometimes it's just the fact that, hey, it's a woman, I want to just get control over her. So I R word her, even though I probably could have got it even if I just finessed it. But I don't want to finesse it. I want that power. I want that control. I want to see that fear in her eye. I want to know that I won. Like it don't feel like winning unless I do it this way. That's how a lot of R worders think. So so many different ways in which a lot of men pursue women, and the intention behind it, and the pathology, you know what I'm saying? The psychological link, the physiological link. All of this is really related to each other. And then we have to think about a lot of other things too. The way we made sex so taboo, the way we made nudity taboo, that I feel like drives the need for men to essay. If you was walking around here, if everybody was walking around here butt naked, there would be no need to feel like you gotta go through all of these, who jump through all of these hoops and do all of this forcing women into having sex with you when you already see what she got. You see your body parts, there's nothing exciting about it. Sure, the act is different, but a lot of people just being able to see somebody naked is going to drive the desire. The more you can't have something, the more you're going to desire it. So I can't see nobody naked. I gotta leave things to the imagination. Now I'm thirsty because I gotta leave things to the imagination. And when you imagine things, they become much more heightened than they are in real life. So now you're like obsessing over it because it's like, oh my God, it's better in your head than it probably would be in real life. But because you don't know, you gotta keep obsessing about it. And this is what I think a lot of like R worders and SA people, I think it's just this mindset of, oh my God, I want to find out if it's as good as I think it is. But it's all layered because of the mystery of it all. And I'm not saying again that you should just be out here willy-nilly effing people just to find out just because you're curious. But when you take some of the curiosity away, which again I think is related to nudity, you don't have any problems. I guarantee you, in these societies where people are still nude, which is very, very, very low, there is no essay going on. Why would there be? Why would I have to touch what I can already see? A lot of times you touching it because you trying to imagine what it feels like. A man just randomly touching a woman that he don't know. Yeah, it's the element of control, it's the element of different things. But one of the driving points is he's trying to touch it because he want to know what it feel like because he don't know what it looks like. If he at least knew what it looked like, he might not have to feel it because he could see it. You understand? It's about your senses. I'm, and we are supposed to be nude anyway. I wonder if we were to be nude for real. If I want one day when I get older, I might conduct this experiment. I might have, no, for real, I might have a little area community off grid. Maybe I want to say 20 to 25 people. I would like for it to be as big as possible, but everybody's just nude and we're going to see what happens. I doubt very seriously that there'll be any kind of sexual deviance going on. But then again, if it is, it will be because of the society that we're coming from, not because we were brought up naturally that way. So we would have to consider all those variables, right? But if we were to create a new society where everybody is nude, all the children, the babies grew up to become nude adults, right? Follow them, follow their psyche, follow their behavior. I guarantee you most of them kids would not be, they wouldn't think about SA. They wouldn't think about it. Because there's nothing taboo. We wouldn't even make sex taboo. When you make things taboo, people want it more. Because again, when you take things away, there's a rebellious thing about being a human. A lot of us want to go against what we've been told just to prove people right or wrong. We want to see. So you got to think about these other stars like David, right? I don't know. I didn't know who David was. I've seen him a while. I had never heard his music, but he's been in the news the last month or so. Um, I don't even know if they made any arrests, but there's this girl who was found killed in one of the cars that was registered to him. She was dismembered, and she was 15 at the time. There's been a lot of speculation that he was dating this girl when she was 12, starting when she was 12. Okay. This is a grown ass man we're talking about. Because I think he's what, 21 now, 22, something like that. Very early 20s, but still 20s nonetheless, while she was 15 when she passed away. These white men have done some things to black men in the pathology since slavery. And this is not to say, because I don't know, we really don't know what we don't know without the information that can be there to prove it. We don't know how black men would have been if we were never colonized, right? Because it's still a chance that there was going to be some black men that were going to be just sexually deviant who would just R word women and SA women, right? But we have to understand that the effects of slavery and how white men, right? Because human trafficking, aka slavery, aka the slave trade, is the same thing as the sex trafficking. Because please believe that these white people, when they were buying slaves, it was not just for labor. Again, like I said earlier, the labor still included a sexual act somewhere in there, majority of the time. Even if it just meant breeding with another slave. I want y'all to understand that. So, that being said, these white men did something to all of us. Not just, I'm not going to just put it on black men, but I'm got to say black men because black men are the ones who are committing most of the SA acts in the black community. It's not black women. It's not saying that black women don't do it. So nah, because I hear people, oh, black women still, duh, talk about it. I talk about it. I talked about it in the last video that I made. How black men need to hold black women accountable for sexually violating them in young ages and them just getting high fives about it. Okay? So I know that black women are committing acts of SA. However, y'all, we are not, we can't be fooled and think that and know and not know that black men are committing most of them. And as a result of slavery, this pathology has been passed down. This mindset of nurturing, right? Not the nature part. Like I said, the nature part is men do relate their sexual prowess to their manhood, their masculinity. If they score or not determines how valuable they are as a man, right? And this is something that I think from my observation of male species across the board that this is just something that's natural when it comes to males. Because males in the animal kingdom, from the roaches to the motherfucking lions, they compete for the females. They compete. And when they don't win, that's a reflection of, in their minds, their value as a man or as a masculine or as a male, whatever, how you want to paint the picture. So when you got these niggas who just they not able to pull women, or they don't want to go through all the work it takes to pull women, so they just take the sex from the woman. They take her body. It's rooted in the lack of consent that black people have been dealing with for centuries, maybe even millennia. It is the slave trade. It is the breeding, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God, I can't think. Oh, breeding plantations, my God. It is the buck breaking. It's all of that. We have been unable to consent even to this day. They are doing things to our bodies without our knowledge, without our awareness, and without our permission. Consent is a basis that we, just as a general people, regardless of race, don't respect. I've had people, especially when I was pregnant, just come up to me and just randomly touch me. I don't know you. You don't just touch people. You ask for permission first. It's so many things that people just don't care about doing to other people. No concept of personal space. Just walking up to somebody you met yesterday or just had a conversation with, and you're touching my hair. Yes, this is white people I'm talking about. Well, the lady who touched my stomach was black. That's why I said it doesn't matter. But when it comes to hair, black people ain't typically just going out their way just to touch another black person hair. And when we do, we actually say, hey, you got some in your hair. Because I don't really need to feel the texture of your hair. I know what your hair feel like. But it be white people who just want to touch our hair because they never felt black hair before. Like, you just gonna come and touch my hair. This just happened to me last year. It's disturbing because people don't have a real clue about consent. So I'm gonna end on this note. We gotta understand that men insult women because there's this general mindset that women belong to them. It's even biblical. A lot of men read and look at the book of Genesis and Eve being given to Adam as a gift for something for him to use for his pleasure, his disposal. And that's not what the fuck we were meant to be here for, even in the biblical sense. So there's that. It's the power aspect. It's the making sex taboo. It's the making nudity taboo. It's all of those things wrapped into the natural aspect of men and their sexual prowess and how they relate it to their manhood, their maleness, their masculinity. Just to put it into the quickest terms, it's all of that I just summed up. That is why men insane women. My eyes are getting watery, y'all, because I got this incense and I think it's getting a little too smoky here. So I'm gonna end on this note, y'all. Please make sure y'all check out the links below, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Ooh, this shit burned my eye.